everyone, SimsEclaire here and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are finally not doing a house. So obviously my horror house series for October is over. If you guys didn't catch it, I will link the playlist in somewhere in this video so that you guys can go back and watch any of the videos you missed or any of your favorites, make it easily accessible for you guys. But to start off November, it's still like a real fall vibe, but I wanted to not do too many houses. I have a lot of houses on this channel, specifically because of the October. That whole month was just house after house after house. I think there was like 2 apartments. But I wanted to try and do a couple of community lots for you guys to kind of shake things up a little bit. So this is Old Town Bakery and Books. So this is a bookshop and bakery, so it does run as a retail lot, and it is combined, like they do connect on the inside as well, so they are not 2 separate entities, they are one. Even though the outsides look separate, I did that because I wanted some seating areas for the bakery, so I did separate the outsides, but the insides are connected. I almost thought that maybe it was like an old library or an old house that someone had converted into their shop and like their passion, their business. So that's kind of what I was thinking. Now you can kind of see I'm struggling a little bit. As of right now, there are 2 different foundation heights for this build, but I do end up changing that because I wanted to add some, like, I think they're called freezes, like around the top. You can see me trying to place them right here, and as I was doing that, it kept cutting off and not like connecting the 2 buildings because they were their different foundation heights. So I did decide just to make them all one big one foundation height, which was a little frustrating. I can't wait till we get those platforms so I can do something like this and do 2 different heights connected to each other, because I've always wanted to be able to do that. And I have one build on my channel where I did leave it as like the makeshift version, where you do like you don't connect the rooms and you have like an empty space that you just draw walls on. But it messes with the lighting because it gives it outdoor lighting because there's no ceiling on the part where you draw those walls. So it's just it's really weird. Sorry guys, I had to yawn for a second. I'm doing this kind of late at night after a work shift, so I'm a little tired. I hope you guys don't mind. But the outside of this build is coming together rather quickly. I really wanted to stick to, I'm American, so I only know what's in like movies and TV shows, but I wanted to stick to that like classic old European French exterior style with like the balconies and the wrought iron fences and plants everywhere. And I thought that the best place to put that would be here in Windenburg. Now I know the buildings around this are not in this style exactly, they're more in that Tudor style, but it was either build it here, build it in the middle of nowhere in Windenburg, or build it in the modern area, and I definitely thought that it would fit better here, which is why I named it Old Town Bakery and Books, because it's kind of like, it's the more Tudory area. It's like all the buildings look older. But as I was saying before I got distracted, the outside's coming together. I initially started with just these walkways, and then I realized that none of the other buildings have any grass. So I do end up just I cover the whole ground in these this flooring, and then I just leave a couple of like planter boxes open to do like some brief landscaping. And I also end up doing a couple of community activities. You'll see them in just a minute on like the sides of the building, because obviously, as you can see, this building did not take up the entirety of the lot, so I wanted to fill in the space just a little bit better. But right now we're working on the fronts of the 2 buildings. So the left hand, the one that I'm working on right now, is going to be the bookstore. So as you can see, I placed one of those hanging bookstore signs from Get to Work just up top on the left of the door, and then I have a cursive also from Get to Work sign, I do believe, above the bakery door. And the bakery door has that classic like bright open front window area and the flower boxes and the large doors. So I was definitely going with like classic vibes here. And then this is where I was talking about how I end up doing just some flower boxes. Now I think the flower boxes look really nice. I was a little annoyed. I kind of wanted things to look a little bit more green, but at the same time, I was also basing this off of, like I said, the like movies of traditional like European and French bakeries and patisseries, and those are usually they're usually on street corners. So I don't know why I was imagining this like lush green garden, because they're not. They're usually, at least in the movies, they're usually on street corners. So they are actually just stone. So I was like, I guess that actually makes sense. And then this is what I was talking about, how I add a couple of community things over on the sides of the building. So I do some of the debug lanterns from Get Together, and then I zoom out to kind of get a feel for some of the different things that we have here in this side of town. And then I add a fountain and a couple of, also, I think that they're technically to stop cars from driving, but I thought that they looked kind of cute, like lining that area. And I thought maybe, just maybe cars could drive like around here. So they were just making sure no one was going to drive into the fountain. And then over here, I'm trying to find some get together plants, but I end up just using normal build and buy plants, and I just place them in all of the green little boxes that I made, the flower boxes. And I used romantic garden plants up front, and then I use a different, I think it's still romantic garden, but I use these smaller ones out back. I just thought it fit back here a little bit better. And then I'm adding the back door, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, but those long windows, the ones that match the wide windows that I used on the front of this bakery right here, they do not come in the same color swatch as the rest of the windows and doors. Their white, quote-unquote white swatch is gray, and so I wanted to use those on this back wall here because I didn't have enough space for one of the big ones, but it didn't match, and I wasn't about to put a gray next to a white. I just really didn't feel like doing that. I think I did it on my last build, my last like ice cream parlor build. I think I did like a dark brown and then like a reddish brown, but I like the gray and the white was just totally messing with my eyes. So I did decide to just not put any windows back there, but I have plenty of windows on the side. And then going up to the front, just doing a little bit more landscaping-ish, I'm adding some wall ivy, and I'm trying to make it look like it's extending from the planted wall ivy, because obviously, like I said, this has no green, so there wouldn't be any natural ivy. So I'm trying to make it look like it's just like an extension of the planted ivy. And then I also added some more planted ivy on the side just to cover up that space, because I knew I wasn't going to be putting any windows there, so I didn't want there to just be this empty wall. And then this is going to be a planter. So you saw me zoom out and take a look around the area for a little bit, and I noticed that they have these really cute planters kind of like in the middle of the town. So I went ahead and got some debug get together plants, and I just filled in this little box. And I started with this really tall tree, and then I do end up switching it out because I just did not like how it was looking. It was like super tall compared to the rest of the plants, and I couldn't get anything to fill in the space. You end up grabbing out a tree and then shrinking it down until it's about the size of a bush. You'll see me do it in a minute. It's that white one right there. And then we're going on to the back patio here. You can kind of see I already did the interior. Well, I did the wallpaper, and I cut all that out because initially I was going to use custom content wallpaper. I usually don't use custom content in any of my builds that go on my YouTube channel, but I built a house off camera or I built an apartment off camera recently, and I used the custom content wallpaper that I have. It's like this HGTV pack. It has like 3 different versions of it, like they're different types of colors. I think it's like cool, warm, and neutral. And then there's like 10 swatches in each of those, and they're such nice colors. And basically what I did was I placed them because I loved them so much, and then I was like, no, I can't do that. So then I sat there for like 20 minutes like going through the color swatches that we have from the game itself, not custom content, until I found ones that match the ones that I liked from my custom content pile, and then I switched them all out. I will double check to make sure that this build isn't flagged as custom content, although if you can't find it, just turn on your custom content, like show builds with custom content in the gallery, and then it'll pop up. I'm pretty sure though it should be okay because I did delete all of them, but I'm not 100% sure how that works, because if you watch Deligracy's videos, she doesn't use custom content in all of her builds, but all of her builds get flagged Now, I've been very lucky. I don't take out my custom content when I do these builds. However, my builds never get flagged. So I don't know I don't know what happened, like why hers do. But I did want to warn you guys that it might get flagged in this build just because I had placed custom content even though I deleted it all. But now the bakery portion of this has come together rather quickly, and as you can see, I did place an actual espresso bar in here. So if you wanted, you have to do it before a sim buys this lot. It cannot be changed from a retail lot once a sim owns it. But if you'd rather run this as like a library slash like just like a reading nook with a cafe attached to it, or just like a plain cafe, I'm pretty sure that this will run as a cafe because there's bathrooms upstairs and there's plenty of seating and there's plenty of like books, and then there's waste disposals and there's the espresso bars, so it should work as a cafe if that's how you would prefer. Like I said, you can't have any of your sims buy the retail lot or it won't let you switch it back over. So that I just wanted to mention that is why I chose to do the espresso bar, because you don't need a counter to run a bakery, you just need the cash register. So since I was able to fit the cash register, I did want to make sure you guys had the option to run this as a cafe. And then over here you can see I'm kind of building this like custom seating area. I used one of the ottomans, I believe it was the one from Luxury Party. It was either Luxury Party or Vintage Glamour, and I just used some kitchen cabinets and raised them up so that way it looked like this little bench area, and I do that again upstairs as well. And then over here, so these are book displays that came with Get to Work, and I'm going to go through and go into the debug menu, and when you have these book displays and you pick books out from the debug menu, as you can see they like sit them up as though it's like actual displays of the books that are in the shelves, and then you can set these individual books for sale when you run this lot as a retail. So if you haven't run a lot as a retail store in The Sims, you have to, before you open, you have to set objects for sale. And to run a bakery, you set your baked goods for sale. You kind of saw a little bit at the beginning. I had that little clip of my sim ringing up a customer, so you could see that there was baked goods in the pastry cases, and basically you click on those once they're in the pastry cases and you hit set for sale, and that's how you run a bakery. Same thing with a bookstore, you set all these books around and then you set every single one for sale, and then that's how then sims come up and you can talk with the sims, the random sims that get generated. They have different like functions and socials for you to do for retail lots. It's like greet customer and ask about price range and stuff like that, and you can do those until the customer has like this full bar at the top of their head. I'm not sure what the bar means, but that like you want them to have that full bar, and then they'll go and search on their own, and then they'll come back to you and tell you that they're ready to buy. Now it is a little glitchy, sometimes you don't get the notification that they're ready to buy, but that's okay. It still works perfectly fine most of the time. And then going up here, I do a couple more seating areas. I do end up deleting this couch though, and I do another book display just because I didn't like how it was sitting like super far back. It wasn't like my favorite layout, so you will see me, no, I don't do it here, but I do end up deleting it. And then we also have both of the bathrooms up here. I'm about to go do those now. So I didn't put any curtains on the windows downstairs, but because these were bathrooms, I definitely wanted to put some curtains, so I just use a mix of the Parenthood Parenthood curtains, and then a couple of basic items here in the bathroom. I use the Get to Work paper towel dispenser and soap dispensers, and both bathrooms are exactly the same, just different layouts, because I was gonna put them like right next to each other, but it kept cutting through one of the windows, so I was like, no, I can't do that. So I like had to switch them around so they did that L shape, but I think it works really cool, except for, you know, how it messed up that couch. But like I said, I do end up switching that out for some displays. You can see me doing it here, and I just placed a couple more debug books, and I just chose books at random. Like obviously if you wanted to search through and make each display like a genre, you could do that, but I just placed books randomly. And then I'm going to place some flowers up on the wall here just so that wall doesn't look too bare, because I hate it when there's just like these empty walls in a build. But besides that, that is it for this video, so I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye!